The Soviet Republic of Ukraine, the Duga radar array.
It's an over-the-horizon radar system. Big improvement over their old missile defense tech. It's nothing but thick forest for miles around.
A perfect hiding spot for Perseus.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about the next Zombies map, a big update on the banned high rounders, as well as some other surprises. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because about 60% of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So make sure you guys are getting notifications every time I update you on Black Ops Cold War. Season 3 is just around the corner. Make sure you guys take advantage of the triple-double event that is happening this weekend. Double XP, Weapon XP, and Battle Pass tiers across the board on all platforms. Also, thank you for the support on yesterday's Bombcast. We had such a great conversation with the lad himself, Prestigious Key, such a wholesome content creator. But if you missed it, it's linked down below and also available on just about every other podcast platform out there. All that information is, of course, in the description. But if anybody cares, Verdansk is becoming more and more closed off now, as the hospital, prison, and shipwreck are covered in radiation. So if you die in the radiation, you will, of course, become a zombie, and it's the same zombie from the Halloween event, which was the Haunting of Verdansk. Now, there's no way to get a cure and become a human again, unless they'll add that in later, but I assume by some point Tuesday, just about most of the Verdansk will be unplayable because of the radiation, leading into the event on Wednesday. But as Treyarch tweeted yesterday, we have a nice teaser for the next Zombies map, and it's not really what you guys expect, but as they said, the only way out is up, and it's a gif of Duga being playable in the Outbreak Zombies mode. So I have a lot to talk about with this. Definitely stick around for as long as you can, because this does impact the future of zombies quite a bit. So first off, I'm curious if the Outbreak Easter egg, which is releasing as soon as Season 3 begins, is going to require us to be on all sections to complete the Easter egg. So what if the Easter egg couldn't have gone live in Outbreak yet until at least 5 locations were released in the game? And now we're going to have that with Season 3, so maybe certain steps are only completable in certain sections of Outbreak. I'm curious how that's going to work, and I just think the hunt's going to be great. This is going to be a much different style Easter egg hunt than what we're accustomed to when zombie maps usually release, so let's see how that works. But I'm also curious if they ever add in other Fireteam maps in the future to Outbreak, will they keep adding it to the same rotation that we have now, or will there be a separate playlist in the future for other maps? Because right now we're going to be at 5 maps in the rotation, which is a good amount, because that means you could do one unique objective per location when you first spawn into a game of Outbreak now, as opposed to before when there were 4 to 5 objectives but only maybe 3 to 4 maps. So let's see how that works out. But another thing when it comes to Duga is we only saw a portion of it in the campaign, so I'm curious how much more expanded it'll be in Zombies. I know for a fact Golova is kind of broken up a little bit in Outbreak and is much more expanded upon in Fireteam Dirty Bomb, so I'm curious if they're going to take a majority of the portion from campaign and then maybe expand on that for Zombies, or even expand on that even bigger for Fireteam Dirty Bomb, because it is inevitable that without a doubt now we're going to see Duga added to both Fireteam Dirty Bomb and Fireteam Hardpoint, maybe during Season 3 Reloaded, similar to Golova, where we saw it first in Zombies, but then it got added to multiplayer deeper into Season 2, so we just get an early taste of the map through Zombies, which to me is still great. But here's what I'm wondering now when it comes to Duga and Outbreak. This is real confusing, so bear with me now. If we saw in the celebrity trailer of Warzone Season 3, if we saw Duga on the 80s version of Verdansk, then how does it make sense that Duga is also going to be in the Ural Mountains for Outbreak Zombies? Because those are in 2 different locations, and we know Verdansk is not in the Ural Mountains, so is there going to be a bit of a plot hole here where we get the same location but in 2 different countries in the Call of Duty timeline? So I don't know how that's going to work, but again, the leaked celebrity trailer only gave us a glimpse of what 80s Verdansk is going to look like, but it wasn't necessarily confirmed that Duga and Mines, which we saw in that trailer, are in the 80s Verdansk. It just looked like that they were. But if they aren't, then maybe we still are going to see the Ural Mountains Warzone map at some point. Could it release after all at some point this summer? Could it even release in Season 3 alongside the 80s Verdansk? It's a bit unlikely, but how cool would that be? That maybe we get 2 big Warzone maps at the start of the season, or at least mid-season? I think that would be great, but again, geographically, it's a bit of a clusterfuck if you think about how Duga is somehow in the Ural Mountains for the zombie storyline, but then for Warzone, it's in Verdansk, and I'm like, how does that work? Again, we need more clarification from the marketing of Warzone Season 3 to truly truly understand what is going on with this map, but at the very least, we're definitely going to be seeing it in zombies, which still has me excited. Now, I made a video a couple of days ago talking about new zombies maps, and in terms of standard survival experiences, we know about at least Berlin and this giant type remake, and we're not sure what that could mean, but at the very least, Berlin is DLC 2. So those are two maps you know about, right? For DLC 2, DLC 3, who knows what DLC 4 could be, because I do expect us to at least get 3 more traditional zombies maps in this game, which lines up perfectly with all of the previous zombies iterations, which also only saw about 5 to 6 maps for those seasons, not including a map pack like Resurrection or Zombies Chronicles, which brought in more remasters to add to that map list for Black Ops 1 and 3, of course. But looking at what I said in that video, I predicted this really well. I'm like, look, the Ural Mountains Treyarch Warzone map, which may not ever release, has quite a few sections on that map that aren't in Fireteam or Outbreak yet, but they'll probably drop at some point soon, right? They'll just sporadically drop some of those locations like Chemical Labs, Battery, Zoo, Weather Station, Duga, and what do you know, Duga is already launching with Season 3 for Zombies First. It'll be put into multiplayer probably during the mid-season update, but then it's like, alright, well they have a separate playlist for those maps when they release. Are we gonna have an Outbreak mode eventually that has, you know, 8+ maps that you can rotate across in a single game? Maybe that's how they're gonna work it out, but at least you guys know that there's plenty of content coming to Outbreak. Even if you guys aren't a big fan of the mode, I do want to assure you guys that the development on Outbreak is not affecting the development on standard survival maps whatsoever. I just think their schedule might be a bit off because of the pandemic, but doesn't mean that they're just not going to focus on standard survival maps anymore. Outbreak just could shape the future of zombies in ways that we might not realize yet. But we also had a glimpse of the brand new field upgrade. As you can see in Treyarch's new profile picture on Twitter, it is known as Toxic Growth, and they didn't make that clear with any post or anything, but I know for a fact that before the reveal of Black Ops Cold War Zombies, a full list of all the field upgrades in the game actually surfaced, and there's actually 2 we haven't seen yet. One is called Toxic Growth, which kind of lines up with the aesthetic of Treyarch's picture. Another one is called Lightning Links. And again, they could be renamed by the time these release in Black Ops Cold War or scrapped entirely, but at least one new field upgrade is coming in Season 3. Who knows what it could do, but if I had a prediction, I would say maybe the ability when you shoot a zombie is that plants come out of the ground and affect the zombies around you. Could be some Zetsubo no Shima vibes when using this new upgrade, but I'm also curious, do you guys think they'll end up adding a Tier 6 crystal upgrade for everything in game, or are we going to be capped off at Tier 5? Because right now, everything is pretty well. I think you're a machine once you have everything upgraded to Tier 5, so I don't know how much better you can be at the game when upgrading everything again, but hey, if they add a Tier 6 ability for all of our items, then I wouldn't complain. That'll be some extra content to grind for. But also let me know in the comments, have you upgraded everything in Black Ops Cold War Zombies yet, or are you still taking it slow? Because it's easy to get all your crystals by playing Outbreak, or if you guys want, going to high rounds in standard zombies as well. But looking forward, we are going to be seeing a lot of marketing this Monday and Tuesday, such as the roadmap, intro cutscene, and gameplay trailer for Season 3. So as I predicted a little bit, I was like, maybe Friday they won't drop the roadmap, they'll just do some small marketing for something else, and that's what they did. It's some small marketing for the Outbreak Zombies experience next season. Then we have the Nuke event, which begins on Wednesday, but might not conclude until Thursday when the new season begins, according to VGC News. So I had us all scratching our heads on exactly what we're going to be playing first when Season 3 begins. A Nuke event might be going on at the same time that all this new content pours into Black Ops Cold War, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do a long stream, maybe just one long one throughout all of Wednesday leading into Wednesday night, or will I split things up and stream the beginning of this Nuke event on Wednesday afternoon, stop the stream, do a video, and then start up a new stream later that night for the beginning of the new season. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll have to wait and see. But in terms of what is going on with Berlin DLC 2, you guys out there are probably like, oh man, we're going to have to wait until Season 3 Reloaded to see Berlin now. That's not necessarily the case. So if it doesn't drop until Season 3 Reloaded, then that might be end of May, or maybe a bit before that, but still fairly far away. And usually, with a typical DLC schedule for a Treyarch Zombies game, we end up seeing DLC 2 late March, early April, but of course because of the pandemic, circumstances are a bit different. But what if they actually release Berlin before the mid-season update, but not the start of the season either? What if, let's say, April 29th, for example, they drop Berlin? It wouldn't conflict with the Nuke event or any other content they have planned for the start of Season 3, but that would be a good time to just drop a standard Zombies map to keep the season fresh, and that wouldn't even affect Season 3 Reloaded either. That still could be filled with plenty of surprises that we don't know about yet. So I think it's a strong possibility when the roadmap drops on Monday. On that roadmap, we could end up seeing what Berlin looks like, the name of the map even, with a hint as to when that's going to release. You know, it could be a thing like Season 1, where there's a mid-season update and also a reloaded update. Season 2 was a bit shorter than Season 1, so they only did one mid-season update, which was also considered Season 2 reloaded. But maybe Season 3 could last a bit longer, and they'll have 2 mid-season updates where the Zombies map could drop in one of those updates. I think that's definitely a possibility, but if not, we truly have to wait until Season 3 reloaded. Then I'm not sure what their schedule is at the moment for traditional Zombies maps. People out there are theorizing that there could only be maybe 1 to 2 more traditional maps left. I would say there's at least 3 left, just to line up with the amount of maps that released in previous Zombies iterations, but this game is being made under very interesting circumstances, so maybe they won't follow that traditional schedule. But yeah, if you don't like Outbreak, I'm not sure how you're going to feel about the future of the Cold War Zombies season. Now, it's also worth noting that we started getting marketing for Firebase Z weeks before release, and Treyarch dropped a couple of different hints, right? Some cryptic tweets on Twitter. They were pointing out some new intel that was added in Season 1, hinting at the Kson base for Omega, right? And that makes sense. So I think we'll definitely know when a new Zombies map is around the corner once cryptic marketing does begin. So my fingers are crossed that maybe when Season 3 begins next week, we'll start getting some type of hints towards Berlin, whether it's on Treyarch's Twitter or even in-game, because I also suggested a little while back that the Outbreak Zombies Easter egg probably ties into what's going to happen in Berlin. Maybe that takes place before Berlin, so we have to do that Easter egg first before moving on to the next actual Zombies map. But what I will say is that it is getting pretty funny to see people complaining under Treyarch's tweets about lack of standard maps, because look, if you don't like Outbreak, I respect that, right? Not everybody's gonna like the same thing, but if you don't like the core of Black Ops Cold War Zombies, whether it's the mechanics, whether it's the game modes being offered, the tier abilities, or how casual the Easter eggs are, then I'm not sure if they add in a perk or a Zombies map, if that would really strike your interest. I think, you know, when it comes to a new Zombies map releasing, it could be one of the greatest maps ever. It could have a great Easter egg, but because of the casual approach, what I see people doing is playing the map, doing the Easter egg, and then moving on and waiting for the next map within a day or so. So I don't think anything they add at this point could really revive anybody's love for the game if they didn't like it already. That's just the way I'm looking at it from a content creator's point of view. But I do hope Treyarch knows that real Zombies fans out there are able to appreciate the amount of innovation that's gone into Black Ops Cold War so far. We're able to appreciate the fact that people out there requested X, Y, and Z in Black Ops 3 and 4, and Treyarch has answered all of those questions with Black Ops Cold War. People wanted more simple survival maps, just to play with no Easter eggs. That's what Onslaught is, if you have a PlayStation. If you don't, I understand the frustration. People out there wanted more modes in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. We didn't really see many, but what does Black Ops Cold War have? A crazy open world mode like Outbreak. I mean, when Nightmares came out in Black Ops 3's campaign, people out there said, we need a standalone Zombies campaign that's better than this. And they're kind of attempting that a little bit with Outbreak, just trying to give us a much different experience that isn't round-based. But last and definitely not least, when it comes to an update regarding high rounders being banned, it is finally being acknowledged by Foxhound that, yes, people out there have been banned for legitimately just playing the game without hacking. So, as he vaguely mentioned on Reddit, we have an update to share. Recent account enforcements have been reviewed and, where appropriate, accounts believed to be operating in good faith have been restored. Accounts that included additional flags for exploits will retain their enforcement. As always, we encourage everyone to enjoy Zombies on PC within the terms of service. So if you are a person out there that got banned for going to high rounds and you weren't hacking and you have proof, definitely call Activision immediately. And what I will say is that the Activision support line on Twitter is no longer available. They've shut down their support page. You can only access their support on their actual website, not Twitter. I was a bit worried that they were just going to shadow fix this and not mention anything and then maybe restore some accounts here and there without mentioning what the case was. But luckily, they've acknowledged it in a very sensitive way that I think they intended on doing to avoid any calls from the BBB. Because people out there were already making reports, calling the Better Business Bureau, and essentially saying that they were being banned for playing a game as intended. It made no sense. And I was also saying that this could have been one of the biggest Zombies controversies the community has ever seen. Way bigger than any World's First drama or any other BS. This was something serious, but luckily it looks like it's under control. As I also said last week, I wouldn't really risk high rounds on PC until Season 3 drops. That's probably when a lot of these issues are going to be ironed out in the most efficient way possible. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the next Zombies map being Duga for Outbreak? What are your thoughts on the brand new field upgrade? And the fact that Treyarch has finally acknowledged the Sale 630 nuclear bug. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everyone.
Death machine spinning up.
I got him, Requiem. We're coming home.
RTB for debrief. And a round on me. Good work out there.